September is National Suicide Prevention Month, a time to raise awareness, break the stigma, and have honest conversations that can truly save lives. And when it comes to teenagers, these conversations are more important than ever. Dr. Greg Hammer, the author of A Mindful Teen, a guidebook to help parents and role models understand the issues teens are facing and provide helpful tools to navigate. He's joining me here now. Thank you so much, Dr. Hammer, for being here.
Truly a pleasure, Jessica. Thank you.
Yes. Let's start with the book. What inspired you to write this?
I have, as a physician, been taking care of teenagers all of my professional life. I raised a couple of them. As we were discussing, I lost my son 8 years ago. And I think teenagers today face issues that I never imagined when I was a teen.
Yeah.
Things like social media, which is a double-edged sword. There are certainly positive things about it, but there are also negative things: blaming, shaming, presentation of perfect, beautiful people and bodies that kids compare themselves to, the political divide, gun violence in schools, competition for college, I think, is at an all-time high. So there are just many issues teens face, and it just seemed, since I'm doing research on and writing about mindfulness, it seemed like a great application for families and schools that take care of teenagers.
Yes, absolutely. So, you know, it's without question, teenagers today are experiencing things that we never had to deal with. Social media and your phone right in your hand definitely helps elevate all of that. What are some of the signs that parents should be looking for when, you know, when it comes to their kids? You might not even realize for a while. So what are some of the things that parents could be looking for?
Great question. You raise a very good point, and that is that very high-achieving kids who show no signs of suicidal ideation or thinking may, in fact, kill themselves. And it's often high achievers, in fact, who seem to be doing very well, who superficially at least don't seem to have any reason to harm themselves. But then there are kids that seem to be losing their friends. They're more and more isolated. They come home from school, they go in their room and close the door. Their performance in school may be dropping off. Similarly, their performance in sports may be dropping off. Those are some signs. Kids who seem sad and depressed, or who are glued to their social media, and the parents may become aware of what they're looking at, and they're looking at things that may be negatively affecting them: bullying, shaming, something called sextortion, which I had never even heard about until I started doing research for the book. So there are a lot of signs, but it's also true that sometimes there are none.
Yeah, and so not only parents, you're saying any role models, that's teachers, coaches, they should all be on the lookout for these things and have some tools. So in your book, you offer some tools for all of these role models. And let's start with your, the GAIN method. Talk to me about the GAIN method.
Sure, well, actually mindfulness, I know that word sort of turns people's brains off sometimes. It's a bit overused, but one of the therapies for people who are depressed, anxious, maybe at risk for suicide is cognitive behavioral therapy. And one form of cognitive behavioral therapy actually does involve mindfulness. Mindfulness really is all about recognizing and experiencing the present moment, whereas our minds typically tend to dwell on the past, and we also have a negativity bias. We tend to remember the negative. So when we're dwelling on the past, we get depressed, we may be ashamed, and when we're overthinking the future, we often generate fear and anxiety. So the GAIN method is really a tool to help us focus on the present moment and be happier.
Okay.
And so it involves deep, deliberate breathing, and then going through in our minds what we're grateful for, what we should accept that we can't change, that doesn't agree with us, what is our true intention, including just being mindful, and the end in GAIN is non-judgment, because we're overly judgmental and often in a negative sense, especially of ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. So as parents, how do you then have these hard conversations? Where do you start? If you see signs, if you don't see signs, where do you start these conversations with these teens?
Another great question. I think the first principle is really for parents and teachers to embody these principles, because our kids are watching us. We can't just tell them what to do and expect them to follow us. So we should have periods of gratitude, perhaps at mealtime. Put the smartphones away. Say a little gratitude. Doesn't have to be a prayer, but just express gratitude to each other for the food, for others, for our circumstances, which are so much more favorable than many other people in the world. Teach your kids acceptance. You know, I know this is bothering you. We're talking about it. But there are things that you can't change, and let's learn how to accept things we can't change that seem uncomfortable or painful. Talk about judgment. You know, do we always have to make everything good or bad?
Yeah.
Can things just be what they are? Can I be just what I am? I'm just a human being. I don't have to be good or bad. So these are some things that parents and teachers can embody and learn about, and then have conversations openly with their kids.
Yeah, a very important discussion, you joining us here. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit about this. Where can people go to get more information and a copy of your book as well?
Well, the book is on Amazon, A Mindful Teen, and it's also on Barnes & Noble and other bookstores. And there's a website, amindfulteen.com, that has a lot of information, some articles. And my website is greghammermd.com.
Okay, Dr. Hammer, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you.
Likewise, Jessica.